Hi, this week's video, Mike couldn't be here, so he wanted me to come in and talk to you about this because he didn't want to have any part of this whole deal. And this has to go with some of the trends that are happening right now in fly fishing. And I've been doing a lot of stuff with game changers and big streamers, and as we know right now, things like these the big caddis flies, uh, and I've been catching a ton of fish. And these, here's a fly here that works really, really well for bass. Um, and there's not a, it's totally synthetic. It's all foam and tinsel and all kinds of crazy stuff. This is kind of a caddis imitation that I've been using. Seems to be working okay. I think they probably think it's a frog as much as anything. Here's another sort of foam popper kind of deal, and that's good for bass. This does have a little bit of feathers in it. Then recently, I was up north and I picked up one of these articulated flies, and I've been making a lot of these, articulated flies that flop back and forth. This does use some synthetic and some regular feathers, and it looks great in the water. And again, I've been using these a lot. So now let me get to the point I'm trying to get to here. And again, Mike didn't want to be involved in this, so you don't know anything about that. I went fishing with a friend, and I was casting sort of these kind of flies, woolly buggers, and these articulated streamers and some zonkers and stuff. He was in front of me, and he's catching bass after bass after bass, and I'm catching a few. I'm doing respectful, but he's just pulling them out one after another after another. So finally I said, "What fly are you using?" Or somebody else said, "What fly are you using?" And he pulled this out of the water. And it's basically, a plastic worm with a floppy tail, much like a Mr. Twister with a kind of a jig head, and he tossed that in and then swim it across and catching a gazillion flies. This is a particularly unusual one, and I'm going to show you up close. It's kind of got like rings around it, which I think cause a lot of turbulence. And if you touch it, it's sort of oily, and it does have a weird, fishy, salty smell to it. And I don't know if that helps with the bite, but it's happening there. So I said, "Well, gee, maybe I should try that." And he said, "Oh, well, he told this to Mike. He said, I don't know, that might, ruin your street cred as being a fly fisherman." And I thought about it for quite a while because, again, I've been using, foam and stuff quite a bit out on the river. I do tie, my deer hair flies, and I have a lot of dry flies. But, tying one of these, there's not a lot of tying to that. So you kind of lose that part of it, but then most people buy their flies anyway. So the question then becomes, why is this a fly, or why is this a fly and this is not a fly? I used to use Mr. Twisters up until I started fly fishing, and I was a spin fisherman, or Mike was a spin fisherman. He used, Mr. Twisters and, all kinds of green worms. My brother was a dentist and would get plastic worms for his students, little plastic animals, and we'd steal all the green worms out of it. And, so I grew up fishing or Mike did, he grew up fishing these kinds of things. And over time, I've moved from, Adams flies to sort of these foam flies with sparkle and all kinds of stuff on it. Because again, mainly I fish for bass. So the question is, how far away from that foam fly to this is fly fishing? And I'd like maybe you to make a comment on that. Just to give you an idea of what these are, and I found these at, of all places, Dick's Sporting Goods. Mike found these, by the way, Mike didn't find these. They're called Kitech custom worms, and they come in a number of sizes. This one was particularly interesting because it has kind of a lighter bottom than the top, and I don't know if you can really see that. So it does have a very fishy look to it, and I think those ribs cause some kind of turbulence too. So anyways, comment on this. And is that a fly? Is that okay to use on a fly rod or even a tenkara rod? I don't know. I don't know where that line is anymore, and I'm having a hard time sort of figuring it out. So that's my little talk for today. We'll see you. Mike will see you next time.